At 18 years old, moving into your first university apartment is a massive milestone. It's a small space, a tiny kitchen, a single bed pushed against the wall, but it represents the thrill of true physical independence. You lock your door and the space is entirely yours. Online, that independence looked like a standard public Instagram account. Random friend requests and direct messages were completely normal. Like most teenagers, our subject treated them as harmless digital noise. So when a stranger reached out, he responded. The conversation started with casual small talk, but slowly shifted. The stranger began asking uncomfortable questions, wondering about his dream partner and eventually what he was wearing. It is remarkably easy to dismiss digital red flags when you are sitting alone in your own apartment. Behind a locked physical door, inappropriate behavior online feels distant, safe, contained to the screen. That distance prompted a bad decision. When his best friend Connor came over, they looked at the persistent messages and decided to treat the stranger like entertainment. They agreed to play one round of truth or dare as a joke. They expected something awkward or explicit. Instead, the typing indicator vanished, and the stranger casually asked how he was finding life at university. This chart maps out his available social media history at the time. You can see plenty of data points tying him to his hometown. But right at the transition to university, the timeline goes completely blank. He had never posted about his move. It wasn't in his bio. There was zero public data connecting him to that campus. The stranger's question was mathematically impossible. He immediately blocked the account. He and Connor spent hours going over every post and photo, trying to find a logical explanation for how this person knew his location. They couldn't find one. An anonymous username, lacking any mutual connection, had somehow bypassed the screen to pinpoint a geographic reality. The digital wall had been breached. To understand how this happens, we have to look at open source intelligence, or OSINT. This is the practice of collecting and analyzing publicly available information. When a digital profile shatters, it reveals a cloud of hundreds of scattered data points. The first vulnerability is your background architecture. A tiny sliver of a window frame, the specific curve of a skyline, or the pattern of a brick wall in a selfie can be cross-referenced with databases to triangulate coordinates. Then there is the shadow network. Even if your profile is entirely locked down, your mutual followers and the public tags of your friends are constantly leaking location data. Finally, we add invisible metadata. When these vectors align, the scattered data fragments collapse into a highly accurate bullseye right over your physical location. After deploying the block button, life moved on. Months passed, and the lingering anxiety of that impossible question faded into the background. 2 years later, the circumstances were entirely different. He was 21, living in a brand new city, sharing a new house with Connor and 2 other friends. A completely new address. His life had essentially hit reset. Surrounded by friends, he felt entirely secure, having forgotten the strange incident at the university apartment. This false sense of security creates the block button fallacy. We assume that cutting digital contact permanently severs a predator's ability to observe us physically. We confuse digital silence with physical safety. Silence broke on a quiet night alone in his room. His phone buzzed with an Instagram notification, a message request from a completely unrecognized username. Assuming it was a harmless reply from another app, he opened it and typed a response. Immediately, a photo appeared in the chat. He opened it, and his stomach dropped. Staring back at him was the exact same heavily built man. Pale skin, messy hair, staring directly into the camera with the same flat expression. And the new messages confirmed the worst. The stalker didn't just remember him. He detailed his current routines, his exact daily habits, and his brand new address in a completely different city. The initial block drove the surveillance into the shadows. For 2 unbroken years, this man continued his search, quietly accumulating data points and waiting. He blocked the new account immediately, but the illusion of safety was gone. He sat alone for a long time, staring at his physical door, gripped by a paralyzing paranoia about who might be watching from a distance. Even with open-source intelligence, mutual followers, and hidden digital footprints, a core terror remains. To this day, he cannot figure out how that stalker cracked his location during that very first university conversation, before any connections existed. Surviving online now requires strict defensive measures. He switched to a private account, turned off location services entirely, and ruthlessly curates what gets tagged and where. We tend to view our profiles as simple collections of memories, but every sliver of background detail, every casually tagged coffee shop, and every throwaway location ping is a permanent piece of a larger puzzle. Every single public social media account acts as a live, constantly updating map to your actual physical existence. It remains accessible to anyone willing to piece the fragments together. If a stranger online knows something about you they shouldn't, trust your gut. Block them, report them, and alert someone immediately. Don't wait for the data points to make sense before you act. Subscribe to Cases Untold for a new true story every Friday night. If something like this has happened to you,